Now that the Red Skull has finally revealed himself and unleashed his grand, insidious master plan for the future of America, will Cap and his team be able to rise to the occasion like never before and undo this plot before it can take hold, or is it already too late? Well, let's hop into the pages of Avengers Twilight issue number 5 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we're actually reminded that part of Red Skull's big plot to twist and corrupt the minds of the American populace via technology was made possible due in no small part to Ultron. But you might be wondering to yourself, what exactly did the evil machine get out of the deal? Well, apparently Red Skull had promised Ultron that once he died and was done with America, then Ultron could rule. But now it's been made abundantly clear that that will never be the case. Hell, even just stepping out of the shadows like he is and revealing himself to the world, Red Skull is already jeopardizing the plan that Ultron worked so hard on. Ultron even kind of reads Schmidt the Riot Act too, saying that he's a failure, a narcissist on a level never before recorded. A man forever lashing out at a world that he feels did him wrong, either because of his crappy father or equally imperfect mother. Obviously, none of this sits well with the Red Skull at all, who decides now is high time to sever his relationship with Ultron, and he does so with probably one of the coldest monologues I've heard in a long time. No machine is fit to lead a nation. Machines were meant to serve man, and man was meant to serve the Red Skull. Now, with everything absolutely coming apart at the seams all around them, Captain America and the rest of the Avengers are rushing to Washington to try and stop the Red Skull's coup from taking place. Of course, this is going to be an uphill battle, as they're not fighting traditional supervillains right now. They're fighting regular everyday service men and women brought up on decades worth of the Red Skull's propaganda, who now think that by storming their nation's capital and attacking and killing the president, they're actually saving the country from phantom foes. Once again, the new Hawkeye, Bullseye's daughter, actually ends up being probably the most dour but affecting realist when she says that dealing with these people is hard. Lies are like a mountain and the truth is like rain. It takes a long time to erode it. And even if the Avengers do manage to save the day, it's going to take a very long time to walk back every horrible thing the Red Skull has done to the country. To say nothing of the bad things he continues to do to the country as well. Red Skull murders the president with an energy blast, blaming it on Iron Man because, hey, he's using Iron Man weaponry, right? We also discover the whole putting on an Iron Man suit himself wasn't just some sort of super villainous irony. Oh no, Schmidt actually plans to upload his consciousness into this suit so that he can live forever and continue to steer the ship that is America. Granted, he chose to go about this in probably the grossest, most body horror way, as the suit is literally jabbing into his body, including his eyes, as blood slowly drips out from the bottom. Ugh, gross. With the president dead, it means the good guys have to now split their efforts. Half are going to go and try and defend the vice president in hopes of protecting some semblance of order, while the others deal with the Red Skull himself. Of course, Schmidt has another ace up the sleeve in the form of Jimmy Stark, who has come not only with his own Iron Man suit, but the finished fleet of Iron Man drones. Making matters even worse still is that Steve demands that Thor and the others not actually kill any of the currently rebelling members of the American military. After all, they've been lied to, right, and they deserve the opportunity to live to see the error of their ways. But while the good guys want to do everything in their power to preserve as much human life as possible, the bad guys don't see things the same way. In fact, the Red Skull has ordered a full-on missile strike to kill all of his enemies in one fell swoop, as well as probably sweep away any evidence of his wrongdoing in the first place. Hell, even Luke Cage and his defenders find themselves in the crossfire of all of this too. In fact, they probably would have been taken by surprise and completely bushwhacked if Steve's wife Rosa didn't actively lead them all to safety. In fact, she even radios Steve to inform him of her success and says that she loves him, which is very sweet. Maybe they will work this all out. Tony Stark, though, ends up getting a much less warm family reunion when it finally comes time for him to do battle with his son Jimmy. Tony has so many decades worth of things he wants to share with his son, but unfortunately Jimmy is isn't hearing any of it right now. He's still way too married to his own anger and resentment. Still spouting off the Red Skull's talking points. Oh, sure, we'll kill millions, but in the end, we'll save billions. We've done a way better job protecting the world than the Avengers ever did. Besides, Dad, it's not like you ever cared about actually making anything better. You just enjoyed the pomp and circumstance of it all. You enjoyed putting on a show, good versus evil. And while Jimmy's words are cutting, his actions speak volumes, though. It seems that he never actually changed much of Tony's original designs when it came to creating his new Iron Legion. It's because of that Tony is actually able to assume control of the drones and have them intercept all of the missiles, though not all of them, as Thor is forced to leave in the heat of battle to actually go and deal with the biggest and nastiest of them. Meaning that once again, as is so always the case, the final battle seems to be between the Red Skull and Captain America, with the future of the country hanging in the balance. And Schmidt has many thoughts about countries, saying that this is probably only the second time ever that Captain America was ever forced to do battle against an entire nation. Before that, it was with Schmidt's own nation of Germany. But how after so many years of planning and manipulation, the Red Skull was able to do the impossible and actively turn all of America against Cap, or turn it against the very ideals of heroism. Steve remains resolute as ever, though, saying that defeating the Red Skull today will be the first step towards reminding people what being a hero actually means, and that the horrible events of Hero Day will no longer live in infamy, will no longer be a symbol of everything that's wrong with the world. And it's here that Red Skull ends up playing his last and possibly dirtiest trick. You see, H-Day never actually meant Hero Day. Cap and the others just kind of assumed that's what it meant. In reality, H-Day always stood for Hulk. In fact, in the time that Cap has been sitting on the sidelines, the Hulk has been turned into America's greatest weapon on the world stage, a weapon that is now ready to be turned on his old teammates as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Avengers Twilight issue number 5, everyone, and overall I thought Chip Zdarsky ended up delivering another really solid issue. This one was definitely the big action set piece one, and while I certainly loved all the cool shit they did and the art team was definitely firing on all cylinders on this one, this kinda wasn't my favorite issue of the series so far, mainly because a lot of the characterization ended up getting put on the back burner. Again, that's not to say there wasn't any. I love the continue evolving relationship between Cap and his wife. They broke up when all of this started, and yet it seems like they might actually get together again by the time it's all said and done. Jimmy Stark and the Stark family dysfunction continue to be one of the most interesting things from this story. Jimmy is so detestable in this one, literally beating his elderly father to a bloody pulp, and yet at the same time you just cannot help but feel so bad for the kid, as his entire life up until this point has been nothing but tragedy, lies, and manipulation, and you hope he'll eventually figure it all out before it's too late. In terms of socio-political commentary, the whole storming the Capitol stuff was certainly taken from the headlines, and the images in this story were striking to say the least. The book also asks a very hard question, and that is, how do you undo a lifetime of brainwashing? The answer is not in one day. But of course, the biggest thing about this issue is the last-minute return of the Hulk, which is one of those things that I certainly should have seen coming, and yet was still very much surprised when I ultimately got it. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a very solid 8 out of 10, and I can't wait to see how the whole thing shakes out, as we're getting very close to the end now. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched at the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.